I'm Nolan, Pompey Init Mush as well. I'm here joined with Becky from Spark Community, Angie from Walk the Island, and my dad.
What mush?
Hey, Nolan.
We found a button, Nolan.
Is that an on-off button? Is that?
Here, just look.
No, that's on. Right.
Go for it.
Me?
Well, I'm going to start because at the very beginning, it was Andy approached Darren from Express FM about he needed a charity or wanted to see what's in the community, and Walk the Island found us. Andy, how did you find us?
Well, I think you sort of gave the shortened version that Darren, gambling on Express FM, is a good friend of ours for many years. Appreciates the idea and the concept of Walk the Island, and we were looking for charities that needed a little help. And if we go back 12 months, you guys were just about to open your doors to the community, and you had this, how should we describe it, broom cupboard electrical area that certainly wasn't useful or for anybody in the community. And what you've turned it into, that we're now sat here today, is absolutely amazing. And once again, Becky, you're doing great things for the Portsmouth community.
But it's easy, isn't it, when you're surrounded by people that believe you? Because let's face it, you had to believe in us, Andy, because you were the spokesperson for Walk the Island.
Well, I think you also had your arm up my back maybe a little bit or something like that.
There is that.
You do get your way, Becky. It does see that. Even today we've seen that. You get your way. But it's about inspiring. You're inspiring people. You see it outside today. There must be 20 or 30 people from the community with different disabilities or different stages of their lives. And it's clear that some of those faces were there from last week. So it's clearly a place where they come and feel really comfortable and safe. Yep. And that's what you're doing. So it's very inspiring for all of us at all ages, not just my old age, but Nolan. I'm sure you're impressed with what they're doing here, even if it is the toasted sandwiches or the cake.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely amazing. Like Andy just said, it's brilliant to see loads of people in here from the community having fun and enjoying themselves.
And that's what Spark is. It's whatever it needs to be for you. It's not about us as a space telling you anything. It's about whatever it needs to be for you. And Andy last week showed a simple act of kindness by buying a raffle ticket for another person he sat next to, and it unwrapped a story for her. But did you know she also won the raffle?
No, I didn't know.
She did. She won the raffle, and she came in yesterday and picked up the raffle prize. And so that's the story, isn't it? It's like these tiny little stories, but actually to some people, it's just something that they got out again. They came out again because of that act of kindness. And we met Nolan way back when Walk the Island was starting to choose us as a charity. And we showed you, and I remember you being on your podcast.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? All that
Yes,
time ago?
Yeah, it was a long time now.
It was.
Yeah.
And we always said that when this gets launched, you were going to be our first podcast.
Yes, you did make that promise, and that promise has been started.
Yeah. And so you are our first official guest on Spark Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's just an honour because I think that that's the beauty of Spark. We asked a lot of people, and we could have got so many people to do this, but we always remember the why. And we're only here because of Walk the Island. And I remember you doing a podcast for Walk the Island, and that's how we met. And I always said, Nolan, you're our first guest. How does that feel?
Well, it's absolutely brilliant, to be fair, because this is the first podcast, obviously, for Spark in general, and this is the first one for me as well. So just bear with me if I do some things wrong, because everyone makes mistakes, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
And how cool is it that the school have let you out to do this?
It's very good from the school, to be honest. They've been very supportive with what I'm doing. Obviously, they let me out to Spain. They authorised it, but I think they just wanted me out the classroom because I talk a little bit too much. But yeah, they've been really good. The school have been amazing. Obviously, let me out today, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more times they'll be able to let me out in the future.
Because you're really passionate about, I think there's a club that's quite local to us. I can't remember its name. Is it Southampton?
Yeah. we don't say that.
I think you're quite passionate about. Do you want to tell people why you are getting involved with Pompey Football Club and what you actually do?
Well, just from a young age, I've always been watching YouTube. I've always been watching, obviously, Tom 4-0 ran all over it, who also does videos at Pompey, Fogden, who does Bolton, and just like many other YouTubers. And I was like, yeah, just go from there and like see what happens, and it's just going quite good.
I think you've interviewed a few famous people on your journey.
Yeah, Jeff Stelling from Sky Sports, Chris Kamara as well, Paul Merson, Robbie Williams, the singer. Who else? Who else have we got?
I think that's quite an impressive list, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you tell anybody how old you are? I think that would show them even more.
Well, to be fair, some people have said I'm a lot younger than I look. I've got a bit of a baby face, but I'm 13. So, yeah.
And I think you are a reason why some people can't stand by how old they are to make it as an excuse of what they can't do. I think you just go for what you love and you just start doing it. And to think that you have interviewed Chris Kamara, I used to really like him.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty cool. How did it feel when you went back to school and told everybody?
It was amazing because, like, some people at school aren't the nicest, just put it that way. They didn't really believe in me, but I went there, told them, and they were like, oh my God, how on earth have you done that? They were quite shocked that I actually did it, really.
And that's quite cool because you've got a dad that literally takes you places, really nurtures what you love. And that's quite important too, to bring Dad into the scene, is it? And say thank you to Dad.
Yeah, a really massive thank you from Dad. I couldn't ask for anything more from him. He's been absolutely amazing, very supportive, always been on the channel as well, thinking of most of our questions for the players and the fans, and always got something to say in our intros.
I think it's a joint effort. The question is joint effort.
Yeah.
But it's just important, isn't it? And I just think you're a great example of somebody that wants to do something, started doing it, and then you get all of that traction. So I just think that you deserve a round of applause. Can you tell I found a new button?
Yeah.
It's like, so what are you going to do this year for Walk the Island? Because they're going to do it for Pompey in the Community. So Claire at Pompey in the Community, it's a great charity. And I've just done an interview with Express FM, and I've told people to get behind Walk the Island if they're a business in Portsmouth, to make sure it's the biggest one yet.
I think it's a big project, definitely the biggest project we've undertaken. It's sort of, we're sat in this podcast room right now, and it's about 100x in the size that we're sat in at the old Moneyfields ground, which is now called the John Jenkins Stadium. But it's a facility that needs to be turned into an open space, into a friendly and welcoming an environment called the John Jenkins Community Hub. And there's anticipated that the facility will be able to cater for up to 40,000 Pompey citizens over a year. And the other thing is, it's already looking like there'll be over 10 local charities that will make the hub their headquarters.
And that's phenomenal, isn't it?
That is brilliant.
Yeah, Pompey in the Community, clearly linked to the club, but the key word is community.
Yeah.
And Claire has, been riding this roller coaster of the John Jenkins through COVID, and clearly we all know anything in building construction, the prices have gone through the roof, and any budgets that Claire and Pompey in the Community had 3 years ago has clearly gone out the window. And it's a project that needs to be finished. And when we think about Pompey in the Community, we should also maybe just touch on the Moneyfield shareholders. We're all Pompey citizens, community, not in it for the business. They basically gifted the ground to Pompey in the Community at a very low price, so that this could happen, because it was prime retail space. So you really got to applaud Moneyfields. But Claire is the lady, and say Walk the Island is on June the 8th this year, and we'll be leaving the pier at 10 o'clock, and everybody can donate on our Just Giving page.
And that's cool, isn't it?
That is amazing. 40,000 people. It's just brilliant.
It is, isn't it? And you're a part of that journey, you see, Nolan. And that's what it does. When you support something that you don't really understand or know, and then you let that, like, walk the island, I think it's just phenomenal, isn't it? So we met through Walk the Island.
Yeah.
And we met through Walk the Island. Andy's going, yep, we met. The face is turning green. Yep, Becky, we met. And I just think that may this always continue, where the community just works together for a better community. Because I think that's the beauty of Portsmouth, is that.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to create the ethos of you treat people as you want to be treated, and caring for people or caring for your community, whether it's, checking on your next door neighbour, or, when it's cold or winters and you're pushing the snow away from their driveway or whatever.
Don't really get much snow here, though.
Well, maybe.
Do you have a driveway?
Yeah.
In Emsworth, we've got a driveway.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
But the reality is those
Yeah.
kind deeds that help people, that is what makes, Portsmouth a unique city.
So what are you going to take away from this today, Nolan?
Well, a lot, actually. Obviously, this being my first one, more experience for maybe some more to come in the future. And just, yeah.
And the gift that Spark's going to give you today, Nolan, is this is free for you to use.
Yeah, so we can...
So if ever you need to do a podcast, this is not going to be for anybody else, but this is us saying to you, thank you for being with Walk the Island all last year and setting up the little interview that we did together. And our thanks to you is whenever you need this to do a podcast or to do any recording, it's free for you to use.
Well, I should be saying thank you to you, really, obviously, for letting us let us use this room whenever we want, and also just to have this room and the whole place is just absolutely amazing for all the people here.
Isn't it a great space?
It is brilliant.
Fantastic how many people are out there today. It's just so packed. When we come down last June, was there 2 or 3 people in here? And it's absolutely rammed today. It's brilliant. So,
it's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's help people this year spark back into life, get behind Pompey in the community and Walk the Island, and let's just see, oh my gosh, Andy, what's the total you're going for? Because I know you dream big, and you smashed it out of the park last year.
Last year we did. Different challenges brings different years, but I think this year's target is in excess of £30,000.
So let's go for 50. £50,000 for Walk the Island. So if you're a business and you want to put £1,000 behind it, do it. If you're also a small business and you can do £10, it's about everybody at whatever level giving to Pompey in the community, to give Claire and the community that little hub that they're building in John Jenkins Stadium, the last hug that they need to get over the finish line, and to do it well. I mean, how cool. Let's go big, Andy.
Every penny counts.
Every penny counts. So if you've got £1 in your pocket, give it to Walk the Island, because if 100 people give £1, that's £100. It soon gets to 1,000. It doesn't take much. It's just about, don't think your little is too little, because it's not.
I was going to add as well, if there's anyone in Portsmouth who doesn't really know what Walk the Island is, they can also watch last year's vlog and the intro on Nolan's channel, and they can see all the walkers and see a bit of this place when it was...
So how would they find that vlog?
If you go on YouTube, it'll be under Pompey Init Mush.
I love that name. That just makes me
Well,
laugh.
it is Pompey, innit?
I know. Pompey Init Mush. And and I love that is because when you see how incredible it looks to see 100 people with T-shirts just setting off with one aim, and that is to raise funds for people of Portsmouth. So they're not doing it for a massive charity up north. They're doing it for local people. So, I'm all in it. So we'll sign off today by saying...
One last thing, I think, on behalf of Portsmouth and the Portsmouth the community, Walk the Island, Nolan, his dad, I think we all just want to thank you, Becky, for the amazing 12 months that you've done to impact and those people outside, but the wider city. I mean, there's so many businesses getting involved, and that's down to your passion, your unlimited energy to do good things. So you should be taking a big pat on your own back. So well done, Becky.
I think you need to hit that button for yourself.
We'll just do a small one.
Well done.
Together, we're stronger. Oh, isn't that little sorry. We don't know how to edit. We've got